Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my best tips when it comes to how to speak naturally when talking to a camera. And this is practical advice for beginners that you can implement straight away. None of that pretend like you're talking to a friend, because it doesn't really work. My top tip, what I did when I first started my YouTube channel, is I had a prompt. A prompt can look like a presentation. So what I did was I designed up a presentation and I literally pretended like I was teaching a class or teaching a tutorial. I had a topic, I had graphics on top of it, I had text, quotes, things like that. And I literally had my screen here, I had a camera here, and I just spoke to the prompt. I didn't have to memorize anything. I occasionally looked into the camera, but I was like, hey, if I'm talking about a topic like how to make money online, I had a presentation which laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what are the points, and I just riff off of it. I'm not reading word for word, even though sometimes I might be. Ideas come up and I can extrapolate based off of that, and that took all the nerves out of not knowing what my next talking point is, and that is super helpful for people who are getting started. The next tip is to experiment with a teleprompter. Don't feel like you have to be married to it, because honestly, it's really difficult to speak naturally when talking to a teleprompter. But I tried it and it was really good practice, because what that transitioned me from was from talking with a prompt that literally guided everything to now I'm speaking to the camera lens, looking at it, but I have an app on my phone that kind of squeezes a script. So it's literally just on like the 1/4 of my screen, and I wrote out the script pretty much word for word, honestly. And then I just looked into the lens and I read off the script. And you can go back to my videos and try to guess which ones I read off a teleprompter. If you can't guess, then I guess that's a testament to the fact that it works. But essentially, what that allows you to do is get you comfortable to speaking to an inanimate object without any kind of prompt. And then what you start doing is now you can go from word to word to the prompt, the teleprompter just prompting you. So you might have a sentence that says, okay, the next point is how to find clients through outreach. And then you can kind of go away from the exact script and say, okay, actually something just came up about how to find clients through outreach. And then you tell your story, and then you can go back to the prompt. You can pause the video and you go back to prompt to the next point. So you're looking at the camera lens, but you're not going word by word anymore. So that kind of is the next natural transition. But my most helpful tip, I think I wish I knew getting started, was to find a topic that you can literally just talk about non-stop without getting nervous, without having to do research. I think that's also something that holds us back a lot. That's why I used these slides. That's why I use teleprompters, because I was worried about my expertise. Sometimes I'm talking about social media and I'm comparing, for example, Instagram performance to YouTube performance, and it's a topic I'm interested in, but I'm not an expert at. So what I had to do is I had to research statistics, have quotes and points and facts to back me up, and I can't just say that off the top of my head. So that's why I had to have these external tools, or I had to try to memorize them, but that just is really hard for a beginner that's trying to get into this. So I would say don't have too many facts and find a topic that you're just so passionate about. And for me, I'm just transitioning into that stage, away from prompts, away from scripts, and now just having a topic. For example, this one, I didn't prepare a script whatsoever. There's no teleprompter here, there's no slides whatsoever. I just had this grand topic of how to speak naturally on camera, and I thought of a few points. Okay, so try using prompts. I thought about what my journey genuinely was, so I'm not making any stuff up as I go. I'm just literally tracing back to what I did. I tried a teleprompter, I tried memorizing some points. Another thing that takes the pressure off is you don't have to record in one take as much as you want to save yourself time on editing. If you mess up, just pause, and then later on, you can just cut that silence out and cut the part out that you messed up. In the beginning, there were so many times where I literally filmed, say, like a 10-minute video. I filmed like 6 minutes of it and it was going really good, and then I messed up, and then it just completely messed up my whole like train of thought. So I redid it, and there's a video that could have took 10, 15, 20 minutes to film and have taken me like an hour and a half, because I just refilmed the intro like 10 times, and that can just take the joy out of creating content. And then what you can transition to after you have the teleprompter and you have like this big idea is just having key points in your mind prepared and just talking about it, riffing off of it, pausing when you feel like you're running dry in ideas, and then coming back and then leaving it to post-production. There's also really good softwares right now. I use an app called Gling, Gling, where it's like an AI that helps you cut out all the silences. It allows you to edit based on your transcript, so you can cut out the silences and delete the repetition. So all that stuff should give you more peace of mind, to reassuring you that it doesn't have to be perfect. And then the final, most practical tip is you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it like so many times. This is probably my maybe like 40th long form video here on YouTube. I started September last year, so it's been 10 months or so. One video every single week. And you have to get to a point where it starts feeling natural. It's just how it's gonna be. If you film 50 videos, you will start to feel natural, you will start to sound less awkward, and that is the really only proven way, is to get through those 30, 40 awkward videos, and then finally you'll be able to somewhat feel like it's more natural. And then it kind of makes sense. You're just talking to a friend, you're just kind of riffing off your thoughts. Another helpful tip to sound natural is to not always stare at the lens, to sometimes look off to the side, because when you're talking to a friend, you're not always staring dead at them in the eye. So use some body language. And I heard a tip that I have applied and I need to do more of, is to amp up your energy maybe like 15-20% when you're speaking to a camera, because otherwise when you rewatch it, it feels a little bit dead and boring. Or in post-production, what you can do is you can speed it up a little. That's what I'm gonna do moving on towards in the future, is maybe speed it up like 1.1x or 1.2x, because right now people are so used to like fast-paced content and you just want to get the value as soon as possible. So you can try to speed up your voice a little bit, you can try to amp up the energy, be a bit more expressive, and those are all things that will help. If you found this video helpful, I also have a masterclass that I'm hosting just for creatives to teach you how to actually monetize your creativity, whether you're a designer or you're trying to get into content. It's called the 10K Masterclass, where I pull back the curtains and teach you exactly how I am able to transition my passion for design into a pretty profitable business. So you can scan the QR code on the left here if you want to join me live. And if you like this video, YouTube thinks that you might also like this one on the left right here. And if you like listening on the go, we also have a podcast version, because I love listening to YouTube videos for some reason. So you can find us on Spotify, called the Brand Creator Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.